Good afternoon. Welcome to Cathay Group's 2024 Interim Results Media Briefing. My name is Andy Wong, General Manager, Corporate Affairs for Cathay. Whether you're attending today in person or online, it is a pleasure to see you, and thank you for joining us. Kindly note that Cantonese, 普通话, and English simultaneous interpretation is available at today's press briefing. Please feel free to ask questions in any of these three languages in the Q&A session. Introducing our speakers for today. Chair, Mr. Patrick Healy. Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Ronald Lam. Chief Customer and Commercial Officer, Ms. Lavinia Lau. Chief Operations and Service Delivery Officer, Mr. Alex McGowan. Chief Financial Officer, Ms. Rebecca Sharp. Without further ado, let me invite our Chair, Patrick Healy, to share his opening remarks. Mr. Chair, please.
Thanks, Andy, and good afternoon, and thank you all for joining us today. Now, before summarizing the Cathay Group's interim results for 2024, I'd like to begin by sharing with you some exciting news. As we firmly turn the page on the events of the last few years and embark on a bold new strategy for the future, we're delighted to announce that we have committed more than $100 billion in investments over the next 7 years to further elevate our customer experience and to strengthen the Hong Kong International Aviation Hub. As the city's home airline, we're a key contributor to the future success of Hong Kong. Our substantial investments further demonstrate our unwavering commitment to Hong Kong's ongoing economic development as we look ahead to the ample opportunities presented by the three-runway system. Our more than $100 billion investment touches all aspects of our operations, spanning Cathay's fleet, cabin products, and airport lounges, as well as augmenting our digital and sustainability leadership position. As part of this momentous investment program, we announced today our purchase of 30 Airbus A330-900 aircraft, with the right to acquire an additional 30 aircraft in future. These new regional wide-body aircraft are expected to be delivered from 2028 and will join the Cathay Pacific fleet, principally serving destinations in Asia. We now have more than 100 new generation aircraft in our delivery pipeline, with the right to acquire over 80 additional aircraft in future. And these orders include narrow-body, regional wide-body, long-haul wide-body, and large freighter aircraft, as we both expand and modernize our fleet. Moreover, the enhanced fuel efficiency they provide will play an important role in reducing emissions and helping us achieve our carbon net zero goal by 2050. Cathay Pacific, our premium airline, is also delighting customers with new cabin products launching soon. This begins with our all-new Aria Suite, premium economy and refreshed economy class, coming to our redesigned Boeing 777-300ER aircraft later this year. And then in 2025, we'll be launching a world-leading first-class experience on board our new 777-9 aircraft, followed by a brand new cabin and flatbed business class product on our existing A330 aircraft in 2026. In addition to aircraft and cabin products, complimentary Wi-Fi will be progressively offered to business class customers and Diamond members in the coming months. And this is in addition to our ongoing investments in dining and in-flight entertainment to make our customer experience truly exceptional. On the ground, over the next 3 years, we'll be launching newly designed flagship lounges in Hong Kong, Beijing, and for the first time, a dedicated lounge in New York. Underpinning all these strategic investments is the success of our rebuilding journey, driven by our determination to become one of the world's greatest service brands. For the first half of 2024, the Cathay Group, including our airlines, subsidiaries and associates, reported an attributable profit of $3.6 billion. And this compares with a profit of $4.3 billion in the first half of 2023. Our airlines and subsidiaries, excluding exceptional items, reported an attributable profit of $3.8 billion versus a profit of $4.8 billion in the first half of 2023, with the year-on-year reduction principally attributable to the normalization of ticket prices. Meanwhile, the results from our associates, the majority of which are recognized 3 months in arrears, reflected an attributable loss of $342 million compared with a loss of $2.6 billion in the first half of 2023. These results speak to Cathay's growing strength and the significant progress we have made in overcoming the challenging circumstances of the past few years. Only 18 months since the start of our rebuilding journey, we have now fully repaid the Hong Kong SAR government's $19.5 billion preference share investment in Cathay, which was part of our recapitalization in 2020, as well as paying a total of $2.44 billion in dividends to the government. We're also pleased to announce a first interim dividend to ordinary shareholders for the first half of 2024, totaling approximately $1.3 billion. And this is after we paid our ordinary shareholders $2.8 billion in dividends for 2023. All this would not have been possible without the support of the Hong Kong SAR government, our shareholders and our customers, and for that we are deeply grateful. The success of our rebuild is also evident in our ability to add more flights and destinations for our customers. All of Cathay's aircraft that were in long-term parking have now returned to service, and we remain on track to reach 100% of our pre-pandemic flights within the first quarter of 2025 as planned. With our unique position of having deep roots in Hong Kong, being proudly part of China, and connecting the world, we will continue to build Hong Kong as an international aviation hub that connects people to the most exciting places in the world. As a group, which includes Cathay Pacific and HK Express, we currently fly to more than 80 passenger destinations across the globe, a figure which will rise to 100 within 2025. So far, in 2024, 10 new destinations have already been announced, 8 of which have commenced service, with Riyadh and Cairns still to come later this year. Our recruitment and training to fuel this growth is on track. Our group headcount will increase by 5,000 people this year to a total of 29,000. We're also very proud that this year Cathay Pacific was named among the top 5 best airlines in the world in renowned industry rankings, and that our economy class was voted the world's best. These industry accolades and achievements are entirely due to the tireless support and dedication of everyone at Cathay. The important strides we have made over the past year are a testament to our resolute confidence in the future of Hong Kong. Looking ahead, we are more committed than ever to contributing to our city's success as an international aviation hub and being a positive force that moves people forward in life. I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to all of our customers for the incredible support they have continued to show us, as well as to everyone at Cathay whose phenomenal efforts have enabled Cathay to achieve so much and will continue to propel us from strength to strength in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Before we take your questions, kindly note our CEO, Ronald, will also provide a recap of some of the key points in Cantonese in his closing remarks towards the end of the press briefing. An electronic copy of the Chair's opening remarks, the CEO's closing remarks, and the press release will be sent to you by email and will be available for download using the QR code at the media reception desk. Now, on to your questions. If you would like to ask a question, please raise your hand. I'll call on you, and one of our colleagues will hand you a microphone. Please state your name and the media organization you work for. Kindly limit your questions to a maximum of 2 so that we can respond to as many media friends as we possibly can. So now onto the questions. Okay, Danny, Bloomberg.
Danny Lee, Bloomberg News. I've got 2 questions. First of all, you've said in the previous results briefing that you're going to put more focus on to transit travelers. So with that in mind, what kind of impact and effect will that have on the business and the bottom line going forward? And secondly, can you give me a sense of how demand is going to be for the next 6 months? Do you still see that being as robust and as healthy for both ex-Hong Kong O&D and also transit travel? Thank you.
Thanks, Danny. I think, Lavinia, will you handle those?
Thanks, Danny, for your question. So in terms of our traffic mix, obviously, Cathay Pacific is a global network carrier. So we carry passengers not just to and from Hong Kong, but also a lot of connecting passengers via Hong Kong as a hub as well. So I think last year, when we are still rebuilding our capacity, we put more focus on demand out of Hong Kong, making sure that we satisfy all the Hong Kong passengers' demand and also bring in more passengers to Hong Kong. So that was our key focus last year, whereas we did deprioritize connecting passengers a bit. But now that we are continuing to rebuild our capacity, obviously, we need to fill up our flights, and we will also be proportionally taking more connecting passengers, obviously also to rebuild Hong Kong's status as an aviation hub. So yes, we can see that the mix of our traffic will change. That will have an impact on both load factors and yields as that mix, and then we'll continue to optimize that mix in order to bring the best commercial benefits to us ourselves. So I think that's the first question. Danny, can you repeat your second part?
What's demand like?
Oh, okay.
Next 6 months for
Sure.
O&D and transit.
Sure. I guess in terms of our passenger travel, overall, we are still seeing a robust demand, both out of Hong Kong and elsewhere. Of course, in Hong Kong, we do see there's more competition coming in, and that is not unexpected. We do expect that as Hong Kong borders reopen, now it's into the second year, ourselves, of course, we will be bringing back more capacity, but same as some of our competitors as well. So I think overall, I think we are seeing more balanced demand and supply. But overall, I think demand is still quite strong. So like for this summer, we are still seeing very robust demands. And for some of the long weekends, in particular out of Hong Kong, we are still seeing good demand overall.
Okay. Thank you, Lavinia. Kenneth.
Hi, Patrick and Wano. The 100 billion investment plan is really stunning. How are you going to raise the funds and to counter the risks arising from geopolitical tensions, high interest rates, and keen competition among regional airlines? If the returns are not as good as expected, how are you going to prevent the group from becoming debt-ridden, which may cause another financial fallout and may drag down your company? Thank you.
Thanks, Kenneth. Look, I think we're in an extremely exciting phase at the moment. The last 2 years, we've been focused on rebuilding after the events of the pandemic. And so we're moving out of that phase. We'll be at 100% of pre-pandemic flights by the first quarter of next year. And so that really enables us to focus on the future. We remain absolutely confident in the future of Hong Kong and the Hong Kong International Aviation Hub. And it's important to remember that the 3-runway system comes on board entirely at the end of this year. And so in order to continue to drive the growth, which is required to service the 3-runway system and to provide the connectivity that the Hong Kong International Aviation Hub requires, the investments that we're making, we believe are extremely positive for the future development of Cathay Pacific. As you've seen, it covers fleet, so narrow body, regional wide body, as well as long haul wide body, as well as freighter aircraft, cabins with some really exciting new cabin products, and the new flagship lounges in various locations. So we're covering all aspects of the operation, and we believe that our customers in Hong Kong and internationally have a lot to be excited about. In terms of funding, obviously we're confident that the results that we continue to drive will be sufficient to fund the investment program. We have a cautious and prudent approach to financing and to liquidity, as you've seen in recent years. We're very confident that will continue. But we take a responsible approach to these investment plans, and we ensure that we build in a degree of flexibility so that, should there be unexpected occurrences along the way, that we're able to flex our plans accordingly and not be locked into plans which causes difficulties in the future.
Thank you, Mr. Patrick. LTHK.
Hi, Georgina from RTHK English News. How do you read into the reported losses from Hong Kong Express, and what do you foresee or envision for the future of that branch of the airline? Thanks.
Thank you. Ronald, you'll take the HK Express.
Well, HK Express made a small loss in the first half of the year, but long term, we are still very confident about HK Express as a LCC, the only LCC based in Hong Kong. And we are taking different measures to improve our revenue efficiency and cost efficiency. But short term, HK Express has been facing two main challenges. The first one is part of their fleet, which are A320neo, they have 10 of them, are facing some global engine issue because those fleets are equipped with Pratt & Whitney engine. And as we all know, I think this engine has been facing some issues worldwide, and therefore a number of those aircraft are on ground and not being able to generate revenue for HK Express in the short term. The second issue HK Express is facing short term is the very keen competition among the short-haul carriers based in Hong Kong, as well as the foreign carriers, the low-cost carriers flying into Hong Kong. They are facing bigger ticket price pressure right now, but we believe in the long-term future of HK Express as a model, and we'll continue to improve our ability to bring our customers to more places, leisure destination mainly from Hong Kong. So I think we remain committed, and we'll continue to invest more into growing HK Express. And in fact, after the pandemic, HK Express has been the growth engine for the group. At the moment, they are already at 140% of pre-pandemic flights, and will keep growing. Thank you.
Thank you, Ronald. 前面呢位小姐。
Hello, everyone. I have two questions. The first question is, you know that more than 100 billion investment touches all aspects of your operation. So what is the allocation and the distribution of all segments, such as what proportion for proportion for the fleet and what proportion for airport lounges, and so how many profits can it bring to the Cathay or even to the Swire? The second question is your profit your profit in the first half of 2024 was down about 15%. So what is the reason of it? So could you please elaborate on it? Thank you.
Sure, thank you very much. So in terms of the investment program, each individual investment that we've made, including today's investment of the 30 A330-900s, each of those announcements has a quantified, an approximately quantified number. I'm not sure if Rebecca wants to expand on the sort of approximate breakdown by category. Maybe you can do that in a couple of minutes. But I think the important point is that we have tremendous confidence in the future of the aviation hub, and that these investments span all aspects of our operations, and these are going to be an instrumental part of how Cathay Pacific plays our role in supporting the development of the Hong Kong International Aviation Hub, which we have tremendous confidence in. Rebecca, any thoughts on the split?
Probably just a little bit to add. Obviously, the $100 billion investment is over 100 billion, is to be spent or invested over a 7-year period. So it's a reasonably long time frame. So to the question earlier around funding, etc., it's not money that's going to be sort of spent tomorrow. In terms of the split, unsurprisingly, the biggest proportion is relating to fleet. So we have now on order over 100 aircraft. So the largest proportion is fleet. And then the smaller proportions will be tied to product and lounges, etc. So yeah, we don't sort of share a specific split, but yeah, the largest proportion is fleet.
I think the other point to make is that a very significant part of the fleet investment is replacement. You know, every airline has a replacement ongoing as part of the fleet ages. It needs to be replaced, you know, and to be modernized. And so, you know, those fleet numbers are not all in growth. There is some growth, obviously, as you can see, but there's also a very significant amount of replacement. So, obviously, when we look at the total capital involved, we project the revenues associated with that, and we have a very cautious and prudent approach to our investments to ensure that we're optimizing the returns for our shareholders through the investments that we make. I'm not sure I understand the question exactly. I mean, Swire obviously is our largest shareholder and is an important stakeholder on our board and is fully supportive of the plans that we make, obviously, as is the entire board of Cathay, if that's what you mean. But yeah. Thanks.
Thank you. 頭先見阿 Luke 有問題。
Hello， 經濟部記者 Luke， 想用中文問問題嘅。想請教下 Lavinia， 即係你點樣睇下半年嗰個 yield 嘅趨勢啦？即係上半年都仲係有個下跌趨勢噶嘛？咁你哋見到係 stabilize 咗啊，定係即係你見到係開始定係繼續會跌咧？因為你啱啱提到即係要增加多啲轉機嘅客。咁另一方面都想請教埋即係UO 個情況啦，即係提到即係有啲飛機因為Pratt & Whitney 嗰個 engine issue 而關咗。咁而家嗰個問題係即係有冇得到解決啦？係咪有機會攞到啲賠償？你有冇見到即係環球有啲 airlines 都可以攞到啲賠償，即係份個廠商嘅？即係你點睇呢件事會影響即係下半年嗰個業績啦？同埋UO 其實都定咗目標，即係年底去到170% 嗰個運力㗎嘛。咁會唔會因為呢一個 issue 而有所少少 delay？ 你哋最新嗰個運力嘅 target 係點樣咧？唔該。
我哋見到兩部分，不過我哋逐一解答咗先。Ronald， 麻煩你。
我首先解答香港快運嗰個問題先啦嚇。咁頭先都解釋過啦。香港快運有其中一個機隊係 A320neo， 咁我哋有10架飛機。咁呢個機隊咧係用 Pratt & Whitney 嘅 engine。咁呢個係個全球嘅問題，咁導致我哋部分嘅機隊咧就有一段時間唔可以服務到我哋嘅乘客。咁呢個問題其實都由舊年開始，同埋都會延續去未來嗰幾年嘅。咁我哋同供應商其實一路都有去商討賠償嘅問題。咁我哋其實已經達到一個滿意嘅方案。咁所以咧喺財政上咧，其實係未來咧係唔會再影響香港快運嘅財務嚇。咁嚟緊下半年咧，其實香港快運會繼續會加航班啦。咁頭先我都講過。喺今日嚟講，其實香港快運已經係去到疫情前嘅1.4倍嘅航班嘅數目。咁佢哋到年底咧都會繼續增加佢哋嘅航班。咁我哋都會隨住顧客嘅需要啦，除咗香港嘅乘客啦，我哋都會睇內地嘅乘客、海外嘅乘客嘅需要。咁我哋會再增加多啲航點。 同埋正如我頭先都講過嚇，咁我哋香港快運而家短期可能面對一啲挑戰，咁但係隨住三跑道系統開通咧，其實我哋對香港快運作為香港嘅唯一一間低成本嘅航空公司咧，係充滿咗信心。咁我哋中長期咧都係對香港快運嘅前景咧係非常之樂觀嘅。咁多謝。咁另外一條問題，或者我等阿 Lavinia 答。
OK， 唔該，多謝你嘅問題。我諗頭先講話即係 yield 嘅走勢，我都想有個水晶球可以知道究竟係點樣樣。但係我其實之前幾次嘅記者會都有講過，其實票價 at the end 即係都係有個供求嘅問題咯。咁我哋見到其實喺supply 方面啦嚇，即係供應方面，其實我哋自己一路加緊航班啦，其他嘅航空公司都加緊航班。咁最緊要就係睇下嗰個需求係咪可以跟得上咯。咁我諗我哋會可以做到控制到就係、當然我唔會因為供求嘅問題而影響我哋本身繼續去加翻我哋航班。即係呢個我哋嘅計劃，我哋一定會按計劃繼續係一路加呢個運力落去咯。咁我諗供求我哋可以做嘅就係我哋都會做多啲嘢去刺激呢個需求咯。希望令到多啲人會出遊，咁我諗自然就可以即係幫到個票價。咁亦都另一方面就係話我哋都會盡量即係繼續做好自己嘅產品啦，自己嘅旅遊體驗啦，令到即係更加多嘅顧客願意係俾一個好嘅票價去即係喺國泰嗰度 travel 咁樣樣咯。我諗呢兩方面我哋就係啦，一路點樣可以去好好咁把握現有嘅需求啦，點樣去刺激需求啦，同埋另外點樣即係做好啲嘅產品，令到我哋嘅票價可以繼續去維持咯。
好，唔該啦，Lavinia。我哋睇睇內地嘅媒體有冇咩問題啊？看看呢啲嘅媒體有什麼提問？啡色衫呢個係。
你好，我是那个《时代周报》的记者。我想问一下关于暑期票价的问题，因为我们留意到说，美国的达美航空、美联航，然后欧洲的瑞安，然后还有中国大陆市场，都基本上不约而同的提到说，7到8月，机票票价会同比去年是下降的。就想问一下，国泰这方面会有类似的情况出现吗？如果有的话，有没有一些相关降幅的数字是可以披露一下？然后国泰预计这个对咱们的旺季利润的影响会是怎么样的？
我来回答吧。我们现在在暑假的出行高峰期，就是7月跟8月都是我们传统出行的高峰。那这2个月份我们看市场的需求是非常的健康，所以我们看这2个月跟我们预计的票价还有收益率都是按照我们预计去发展。当然，比起去年是我们疫情重建的第1年，所以是一个很特别的1年。所以跟去年比较，肯定票价是进一步的正常化。但是以传统的旺季来讲，我们觉得7、8月的收益票价还是蛮不错的。但是也是要分，就是短途的票价，其实那个正常化的速度是比较快。那长途的航班票价的正常化的进程就比较相对没有那么快所以有这个分别。谢谢。对，正常化就是降低。
講完啦，但係黑色帽子呢一位。
谢谢 Andy。我来自南方财经21世纪经济报道的云溪。我有2个问题。第一个问题就是我们很欣喜的看到，今年这个国泰赞助了中国网球运动员张之臻在这个混双奥运会的比赛中获得了银牌。我想问一下，就是奥运有没有给国泰带来欧洲航线的大湾区的新客流？在奥运的这一段时间内，国泰采取了哪一些措施去就是吸引新的这个客流？还有就是国泰今年会继续如何聚焦吸引的这个年轻的客户族群？另外一个问题就是国泰这个上半年的利润来源主要是来自于哪些板块？然后刚刚票价的这个问题就是随着这个航班越来越恢复正常，但是很多人还会觉得国泰的这个欧美航线的这个票价偏贵。你们有没有采取一些什么样的措施去给予一个客户一个比较均衡的这样子的一个票价？谢谢。
首先 现在是奥运的期间，所以我们公司也是非常支持香港跟内地的运动员，所以我们都对香港的运动员我们都有一些鼓励除了我们是赞助香港的奥委会去把运动员来回巴黎奥运都是我们负责的，然后我们最近也出了一些鼓励给得奖的运动员，就是他们可以1年免费坐我们的商务客舱的免费坐我们飞机坐1年这些都是我们对香港运动员的一些支持。那刚才你提到我们也非常注重我们国家的运动员那今年我们除了赞助就是香港的运动员，像香港的何诗蓓是我们的品牌大使之外呢，我们在内地也赞助了张之菁成为我们的品牌大使。那我们很高兴他在奥运会拿到这个混双呢，是不是是银牌的，我们是非常的高兴这个也反映我们呢未来国泰的定位就是背靠祖国，连通世界。所以除了做好我们只跟香港以外，我们在内地的市场也希望把我们的品牌跟服务一直的提升。所以过去这些赞助我们一些宣传都是朝着这个方向去进行。另外就是你刚才提到就是吸引年轻人也是我们其中一个希望，就是未来品牌发展的一个方向。现在我们客运整个集团有一个双品牌的布局，就是国泰航空我们要做到全球最佳的尊上的航司，然后香港快运就做到全亚洲最好的低成本航空。那年轻人来讲，他们一般就是都是喜欢我们香港快运的产品，然后他们可能出来工作以后出去公干可能会开始也会做我们国泰航空，所以有这个双品牌，我们希望就是陪着我们年轻的顾客一起去成长，去配合他们的需要。第二个问题就是关于票价。我们的票价呢分几个部分吧。第一部分就是短途的票价呢，基本上已经完全是正常化了。我们看到所有短途的票价在最近这几个月，其实已经是完全跟疫情前是正常化。但是长途呢还是在进一步的正常化。一般来讲，我们香港出发的长途的票价已经是比起去年下降了超过20%。唯一就是香港跟美国的航线还是那个正常化的速度是比较慢，因为现在从内地直飞美国的航班还是恢复的不很快，所以很多内地的旅客到进出美国都是经我们香港国泰航空，所以这个需求还是非常的大。但是我们正在非常努力的去加我们美国的航班。那到今年的10月份呢，我们东岸的那个班次会完全恢复正常，我们会一天有3班的航班到美国的纽约，还有每天有1班到芝加哥，还有1班到 Boston。然后明年的夏季就是4月份开始呢，我们西岸的美国的航班也会全面的重建成功，就是包括我们洛杉矶，我们每天会有3班，那个三藩市或者是旧金山，我们每天也会有3班。所以美国的航班其实我们是蛮多的，所以我们尽快就是为了顾客，香港的顾客也好，内地的顾客的需求，我们很努力的在增加，尤其是美国的航班。当美国的航班进一步增加的时候，我们相信票价会进一步的正常化。好，谢谢。
好，谢谢 Ronald， 谢谢你的提问。Let me come back to Yolanda, please.
Hello, Yolanda from CNBC. I wanted to ask Patrick, you talked about ticket price normalisation impacting your profitability this half. What does the competitive landscape look like right now, and how is it sort of looking into the second half? Are ticket prices normal now, or is there still further normalisation to come, and how's that going to impact your profitability in the back half of this year? And then Last time we were here in March, we spoke about the significant issues facing the aviation sector, and I recall one of the things that you talked about was trade flow balances and how that was impacting load factors. And I wonder if you can give us an update on sort of how that's looking now for Cathay Pacific.
Sure, thanks. Let me just make a few sort of general comments about the ticket price normalization, and then Lavinia, maybe you could sort of add some color to both the, the relative load factors as well as sort of relative what's happening with different ticket pricing across the regions, etc. Look, I mean, I think when we talk about normalization, it's important to remember the perspective, right? I mean, that post-COVID period, effectively 2023, was an extremely abnormal period. By any historical comparisons, the yields that we realized on the passenger side in those first few months after Hong Kong opened up in around January, February of 2023 were completely abnormal. So, of course we were expecting normalization. In fact, overall, and I'll ask Lavinia to add a bit more color in a few moments, but overall, the degree of normalization that we've seen is fairly benign, and we're pleased with the profit performance in the first half of this year. We think it represents another great performance, the result of a lot of hard work from the whole of the team. But the fact that the ticket prices should have come down from what was a very, very abnormal yield situation, driven by this very extreme imbalance between supply and demand that we saw as Hong Kong opened up. Everybody here was desperate to fly, get back on planes, visit everyone they weren't able to visit over the previous 3 years. So it was a very, very abnormal situation. So when we talk about normalization, it's important to remember this is all in the perspective of this very unusual, historical event. And as I say, the degree of normalization we regard as being benign, manageable, and still able to drive what we feel is a very positive result for the first half of 2024. Yeah, Lavinia, maybe some words on the degree of normalization across the regions, and also the question about load factors, etc.
Okay, thanks, Yolanda. Well, again, repeating what the chair has said, I think fare normalization is something that we have expected. So even last year, when we were really enjoying quite high fares, we were already saying that it will normalize. We promised that fares will go down as supply-demand become more balanced. And this is exactly what is happening, not just in Hong Kong. I think if you look around the world, other countries are seeing exactly the same normalization. So this is totally normal and is expected. So, again, out of Hong Kong, I think, because this is what or you are more interested in. As also repeat some of the points that Ronald has made when just answering the previous question. I think out of Hong Kong, basically we see out of Hong Kong, all the regional, the short haul fares, they are really more or less normalized compared with the highs of last year. I think if you go around, I think you can just ask any travel agent or go online to check the fares. A Japan ticket, 3,000-4,000, Southeast Asia, 2,000-ish. So I think these are pretty normal fares already. So I think within the region, because we have been adding a lot of capacity, our competitors have also been adding. So I think regional markets, because of the competition, fares have really normalized. And on long haul, like Ronald has mentioned, I think on many routes, actually compared with last year, we are also seeing double-digit fare normalization, and in many cases over 20%. I think the exception is basically US and Canada, where we are seeing fares are still relatively on the high side, but again, because demand is so keen, not just out of Hong Kong, but also out of Chinese mainland, but whereas supply, even though we are adding very quickly, actually some of the our competitors are not adding back capacity as quickly as possible. So that has an impact on fares on that side. But overall, we do see that fares are really normalizing, and again, that is something that is totally expected. So on our side, I guess what we'll do is maybe also repeating what I've just said, we'll continue to basically elevate our own product and customer experience so that we can still, Cathay Pacific in particular, we are a premium carrier. We don't just compete on prices, we compete on value. So by providing more value to our customers, that is one way of basically sustaining our fares, hence yields. Yeah.
Thank you, Lavinia.
Yeah, I think maybe just add a couple of points as well. One is that the strong profit performance now through 23 and 24, it's not just a yield story. There's no question that the company is benefiting greatly from the restructuring that we achieved during the last few years. And so, we're in great shape as a company as we complete the rebuild up to 100% of pre-pandemic flights by the first quarter of next year, and then enter into this investment phase. We've done a huge amount of work on the cost base as a result of the restructuring we did during the crisis, which puts us in really good shape. And back to the investment question, the big numbers that we've announced today. Cathay Pacific was in the top 10 premium airlines in renowned world rankings last year. We're now up in the top 5. We want to keep moving up those rankings. We want to get back to being the very best in the world. And this requires investment, right? So, we need to invest in the customer product, in the fleet, in the cabin, in the lounges, etc., to be able to maintain the premium pricing position that we've enjoyed. And we believe firmly that that combined with the very sustainable cost base which we've achieved thanks to the restructuring during COVID puts us in a very strong position for the future. And this is what Hong Kong requires. Hong Kong requires a home carrier which is absolutely focused on growth and on driving the Hong Kong international aviation hub forward in the three runway system era.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. 我想睇睇有冇香港嘅電視台有咩問題？Cable News 啊，唔該。
I'm Selina from Cable TV, and I would like to ask my question in Cantonese. 頭先 Wono 提過咧，嗰個短途票價已經正常化啦。咁但係長途嗰方面啦，你認為嗰個趨勢究竟會持續幾耐咧？同埋可唔可以麻煩你得閒廣東話都講多次嗰個情況啦？咁另外就係其實見到而家唔少嘅乘客咧，都對服務上邊都有啲負面嘅意見啦。咁啊，例如係機票超賣嗰啲問題啦，即係作為香港嘅航空公司啦，會覺得要點樣去改善個服務質素啦，同埋擔唔擔心都影響香港嗰個國際形象呢？唔該晒。
好多謝你嘅問題。咁我用廣東話重複一次關於票價嘅問題啦。咁自從舊年年頭香港開放以嚟呢，我哋國泰集團呢好努力去重建我哋嘅運力。咁喺18個月之後，即係啱啱6月呢，我哋已經係超出咗80%疫情前嘅航班㗎啦。咁咧，我哋仲有幾個月咧，就到出年嘅第一季，我哋係目標咧係達到100%疫情前嘅航班。咁我哋都係按住進度去重建。咁隨住咧，我哋一路重建啦個運力，咁見到市場嘅票價其實一路都回落。咁其實分咗幾部分啦。第一部分就係我哋首先見到短途航班嘅票價咧，其實到至今為止咧已經係全面正常化㗎啦。咁長途嘅票價咧，由於嗰個需求有啲唔同啦，咁都一路係下降嘅，係一路係正常化。咁長途航班嘅票價咧，其實比起舊年咧已經係跌咗超過20%㗎啦。咁裏邊咧其實有一個例外，就係香港同美國之間嘅航班。咁由於受到咧內地同美國直航航班恢復咧係比較慢。咁好多內地乘客佢哋去美國出入美國咧，其實都係經香港坐我哋國泰嘅航班。咁所以咧喺美國嘅航線咧，亦仲係出現一個供不應求嘅情況。咁我哋嘅對策咧就係好努力咁去加多啲飛去美國嘅航班。咁喺未來呢幾個月咧，其實我哋無論美國東岸又好，美國西岸咧，其實我哋嘅班次咧都會係全面恢復㗎啦。例如咧，東岸我哋最大嘅點咧就係美國嘅 紐約金艾地機場，咁我哋好快咧就會恢復翻每日3班嘅航班。咁西岸咧，我哋有洛杉磯啦，同埋三藩市咧，我哋好快咧都會變翻每日係3班嘅航班。咁隨住咧我哋一路加運力咧，票價都會進一步回落。咁第二個問題咧，關於我哋服務集團嘅服務嘅問題啦，咁我哋都喺重建裏邊，我哋都繼續去聆聽我哋顧客嘅聲音。咁我哋會就住唔同嘅痛點啦，顧客嘅痛點，我哋都會繼續去作出改善嘅。咁但係咧，我都想講整體嚟講咧，其實我哋嘅服務咧係一路已經有進步啦。咁喺舊年咧，我哋開始重建之後咧，我哋好快根據全球好多有名嘅排名榜咧，其實我哋舊年咧已經入翻全球10大最佳嘅航空公司。咁今年咧，我哋再進一步就係我哋係全球頭5名嘅最佳嘅航空公司。咁呢個咧都係喺亞洲嘅航空公司嚟講啦，或者中國嘅航空公司嚟講咧，都係表現係非常之好嘅。咁但係咧，我哋都係會繼續努力，不斷去改善我哋嘅服務。多謝。
好，唔該。TVB。
你好，这里是 TVB。然后呢，这里是有3个问题想问的。第一个问题是呢，这次选购空中巴士的新型号是基于什么的考虑了？然后有没有考虑过波音型号呢？然后第二个是购入了新飞机后，公司的机队它是如何分配给不同的航线的呢？以及是否会覆盖更多的航点？第3个问题是新飞机的投资是否会影响票价呢？谢谢。
用普通话。好，那我用普通话吧。好，今天我们很高兴宣布，就是我们会订购30架 A330 900，或者是我们叫 A330 Neo 的新的飞机。然后我们还有一个权去再增购，以后再增购多30架。这个是我们继去年我们宣布了载体飞机的投资，还有货机的投资，第3个机队的投资的一个公布，所以我们非常的兴奋，今天有一个新的。那加起来，现在我们订购的飞机已经超过100架的飞机，那还有权订购另外80架的飞机。那在这个330 Neo 的选择里面呢，我们看了市场配合我们需要的各个供应商的产品，那我们最后就选择了空中巴士的330 Neo 的产品。那这个产品呢，我们会放在主要是亚洲短途的航线，包括飞中国内地、东北亚、东南亚以至南亚的航线。那在整体的第2个问题就是我们那个飞机跟航线的布局。现在我们长途的飞机有我们传统的777-300ER 的航机是飞我们长途航线，还有比较新的就是空中巴士的350也是负责飞我们的长途的航班。另外就是刚才我说到的，就是这个短途的航班呢，我们是用330传统的330，还有传统的777去飞。另外我们国泰里边还是有一些载体的客机，主要是321 Neo 跟320 Neo。那这个在国泰航空跟香港快运，我们都用到载体的客机。第3个问题呢，就是我们今天也是很高兴就宣布，我们未来呢会投入未来的7年，我们有投入超过1000亿的投资在我们的机队产品方面。我们这个举措主要的目的就是提升香港国际航空枢纽的那个网络，因为三跑系统快要开通，我们看这个是一个重大的机遇。为了支持香港航空业的发展，所以我们做出了这个重大的投资。另外呢，就是为了我们的顾客的体验，这些新的飞机跟新的产品会进一步提升我们顾客的体验。那希望就是朝着这些投资呢，会帮我们朝着全球最佳的 高端的航师这个目标去进发。谢谢。
好，唔該 Ronald。So perhaps we can now take some time to address some of the questions online. So the first one is about pilots. It's from CRHK. I'll ask it in Cantonese. 商業電台啦，早前指咧，若國泰要應付未來嘅業務增長，預計咧要多500名嘅機師。請問現在嘅招聘進度如何呢？唔該。
咁多謝呢條問題啦。我哋係按住進度咧，係會喺明年第一季達到疫情前100%嘅客運嘅航班。咁呢個咧係其實都仲有幾個月咧，我哋就會達到呢個目標。咁當中咧都係我哋人手咧係我哋一路努力去重建嘅部分。咁人手裏邊包括我哋嘅機師啦、我哋嘅機艙服務員啦、地勤嘅人員，我哋都係好努力咁去招聘同埋培訓。咁喺機師方面啦，尤其是我哋係非常之努力去培訓啦、招聘啦。咁其實我哋嘅進度都係非常之良好。咁要達到第一季100%嘅航班呢個目標咧，其實我哋係需要3400位嘅機師嘅。咁其實到今日咧，我哋已經係有超過3100位嘅機師喺我哋嘅集團去服務㗎啦。咁嚟緊咧，其實我哋仲要培訓多300位機師。咁呢啲機師咧，其實有一部分咧，其實已經喺培訓當中。咁未來呢幾個月咧，佢哋就會上到我哋集團嘅崗位嚇。咁所以一切都係按住我哋嘅進度進行。咁我哋都係目標依然一致，就係喺明年嘅第一季達到100%疫情航班嘅數目。多謝。
唔該 Ronald。下一個問題 ，Next question comes from Global Times。下一個問題係由環球時報嘅記者提問嘅。我哋關注到咧喺2023年以嚟咧，國泰航空大力咁增加咗喺內地市場嘅拓展同埋品牌宣傳。咁公司又如何評價已經取得嘅成果？能否介紹下未來相關嘅計劃呢？唔該。
呢個環球時報。
冇錯，環球時報，唔該。
那我用普通話去答吧。環球時報的，因為這個我們疫情之後呢，我們國泰集團的定位是非常的清晰，就是植根香港，背靠祖國，連通世界。所以在背靠祖國這一塊呢，我們在過去這18個月呢，我們做了很多的工作。無論是在品牌方面啊，我們的服務方面啊，甚至在人手招聘方面，我們都做了很多的工作。那這些工作一步一步的看到，就是很受到內地的我們的顧客的一些認可。我們看到像最近我們一些講我們內地空乘人員的培訓的一些視頻，都上到內地熱搜的排名前列裏邊，所以我們看到了我們在內地呢逐步受到一個正面的關注。另外就是剛才有記者朋友也提到，就是我們也贊助內地張之菁這個銀牌的奧運的運動員，也是受到熱搜裏邊呢已經登着一熱搜頗高的位置，所以我們這些方面呢已經做到一些成績。另外呢，就是在實質的服務改善方面，我們希望就是配合我們顧客的需要，就是在我們的航班的語言應用方面，比如說我們現在都保證我們所有航班都是有除了廣東話、英語以外呢，我們都有普通話服務的乘務員。另外就是在餐飲方面啊，我們的機上娛樂，我們也放了很多內地觀眾乘客喜歡的一些內容。那在招聘方面呢，我們去年第一次就是在內地開始招聘我們空乘的人員。那現在已經有超過300位的內地的空乘人員在我們的航班服務了。到今年年底這個數字會進一步達到500位的內地的空乘人員。那我們希望就是明年我們會有超過1000位的內地背景的空乘人員在我們航班服務。我們空乘人員是一個非常多元化的團隊，我們以香港的空乘人員為主。那以後呢，內地的空乘人員肯定是一個第二大的群組。 然后呢再配以亚洲各地不同地方的空乘人员，是一支非常多元的团队。除了空乘人员，我们在内地也招聘见习的飞行员。那现在已经有60位左右的见习飞行员在我们的基地就是在澳大利亚去培训当中所以希望未来呢，我们整个团队的组成会有更多的内地背景的同事加入我们。谢谢。
Okay, 谢谢 Ronald. I think we have time for a couple of more questions. So the next one comes from Aviation Week, is on the NEOs. So the question goes, you have indicated that the 330 NEOs will be mainly used in the regional network, but may also be used for long-haul routes too. Can you tell us more about your thinking on how and when the NEOs might fit into the long-haul network? Thank you.
Sure, Alex, I think this is one for you.
Well, if I may defer to Lavinia on this one, because it's network-related rather than aircraft-related.
Sure, no. Okay, thanks for the question. Yes, actually, as Pat and Ronald has explained before, so the A330-900 aircraft will be mainly used in the regional network. So because of the very excellent geographical location of Hong Kong, actually, most of our regional sectors are actually within a 3-hour stage length. So I think the 330 NEOs, most of them will be flying around this sort of stage lane to both Northeast Asia, Japan, Korea, and down to Singapore, Thailand, and so this sort of regional network. But obviously in our plan, I think the A330-900 capability, it can actually stretch up to 8 hours of flight stage length. So it means that within our network, if we really want to, it can fly maybe as far down as to Perth in Australia. Also maybe on the west side, go to eastern India and all that. So these will also be considered, but primarily I think the 330-900 aircraft that we'll be purchasing will be primarily flying within, say, a 3-4 hours stage length, so covering most of our Northeast Asia and Southeast Asia network. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Lavinia. So the final question is about our lounge from Executive Traveler. So the question goes, Cathay appears to be soaring on a growth trajectory beyond simply getting back to the 2019 levels of capacity. So does your Hong Kong lounge roadmap, such as the renovation of the wing, reflect an expected increase in premium travel segment exceeding the 2019 levels? What more can you share about the wing renovation and timeline? Thank you.
I don't think I can give this one to Alex either. So Lavinia, this is you again.
Well, thank you for the question. As mentioned, we'll continue to invest in our products, both in the air and on the ground. So lounges are really one of our signature products, and it has helped us win a lot of awards and also customer appreciations as well. So we'll continue to invest in our lounges. So this particular question is about our lounges at the Hong Kong International Airport. We have very, very good lounges in Hong Kong, but yes, I think, they are, at least the wing will be up for renovation very soon. So actually towards the end of this year, we'll start to go for the first phase, which is the wing first class lounge. We'll start to refurbish that. And then so in the next couple of years, end of next year or early part of 2026, hopefully we'll be reopening that. That will also be the time when we will be welcoming our 777-9 with new first class cabins. So if we can have a first class lounge in Hong Kong together with the launch of the new first class product and 777-9, that would be really great news. Then after the wing first, then we'll also progressively refresh our other lounges in Hong Kong as well. So the wing business, and then subsequently the other lounge, the pier. So I think we do have a timetable to gradually renovate our lounges in Hong Kong in line with also the free runway system opening. So we do expect a lot more passengers, a lot more premium customers as well. So we will be adjusting or actually enlarging our size of our lounges just to cater for all these customer requirements.
Okay, thank you, Lavinia, and thank you to all our speakers. And of course, thank you for all the questions. So I would now like to invite our CEO to summarize the vital key points in Chinese before we end the briefing today. Ronald, please.
大家好，再次感謝大家出席今日嘅傳媒發佈會。我好高興同大家去分享國泰嘅重建之路取得咗重大嘅成效。 未來呢，我哋將聚焦於質同量兼備嘅發展，鋭意呢展開新嘅一頁。有關中期業績嘅數據，剛才呢主席已經概述過，而呢詳情亦都刊載於我哋相關嘅通告，所以呢我喺度唔再重複。今年嘅中期業績呢令人非常之鼓舞，讓我哋呢可以向香港特別行政區政府全額償還195億投資，並且呢支付24.4億港元嘅利息。同時呢，我哋亦都可以向普通股派發2024年嘅中期股息，同時亦都為將來作出超過1000億港元嘅重大投資，務求呢係為我哋嘅顧客、員工同埋我哋嘅家香港而進一步邁向前進。作為植根香港嘅航空集團，國泰一直為香港國際航空樞紐嘅成功發展不斷努力。隨住三跑系統即將落成，將推動本港嘅航空業邁進一個新嘅紀元，係令人非常振奮嘅時刻。所以呢，我哋會喺未來7年投入超過1000億港元嘅重大投資，包括喺我哋嘅機隊、客艙產品、貴賓室、數碼升級同埋可持續發展等領域方面，進一步提升顧客嘅體驗，並且呢係配合機場三跑道系統嘅落成，鞏固香港作為國際航空樞紐嘅地位，同時呢亦都實現國泰成為全球最傑出服務品牌之一嘅願景。國泰呢項投資呢，包括咗今日啱啱宣布訂購30架空中巴士 A330-98 型號嘅客機，並且呢有權額外增購30架。呢一款區域廣體客機呢，預計將喺2028年起陸續交付，加入國泰航空機隊，主要係服務我哋亞洲嘅航線。連同最新嘅訂單，國泰未來呢將接收超過100架新一代嘅飛機，並且呢有權再額外增購超過80架嘅飛機。當中呢涉及不同嘅機型，包括窄體飛機、區域廣體客機、長途廣體客機同埋大型嘅貨機。呢一項重大嘅投資呢，會進一步提升同埋擴展我哋嘅機隊。我哋呢同時亦都計劃喺未來3年推出多款全新機艙產品同埋貴賓室，為顧客提供更優越嘅飛行體驗。喺今年，我哋熱切期待全新嘅2雅商務客艙同埋特選經濟艙喺稍後嘅時間喺重新設計嘅波音777-300ER 客機推出。而隨住呢第一架波音7779客機喺2025年加入我哋嘅機隊，我哋呢明年呢亦都會為顧客提供領先全球嘅全新頭等客艙體驗。再之後呢，喺2026年，我哋亦會喺現有嘅空中巴士 A330 客機上邊引入設有平躺睡床嘅嶄新商務客艙。另外呢，我哋將喺未來呢幾個月啦，逐步為我哋商務客艙嘅顧客同埋鑽石會員提供免費機上無線網絡嘅服務，即係 WiFi。而喺地面服務方面，國泰航空將喺未來3年呢，喺香港同埋北京推出全新設計嘅旗艦貴賓室，並且喺紐約嘅金乃迪機場開設首個國泰專屬嘅貴賓室。我哋呢亦會繼續提升餐飲同埋機上娛樂方面嘅投資，為顧客呢提供更稱心滿意嘅優質體驗。國泰我哋會繼續發揮植根香港、背靠祖國、聯通世界嘅獨特優勢，致力鞏固香港作為國際航空樞紐嘅地位，將我哋嘅顧客連到全球多姿多彩嘅城市。我哋集團嘅客運航班數目將喺預期之中喺2025年第一季恢復至疫情前100%嘅水平。而為咗配合我哋業務嘅重建，集團員工嘅人數呢，今年將會有5000人嘅淨增長， 到年底咧，我哋集團員工嘅總員工數目咧會超過29,000人。目前咧，我哋集團旗下2家航空公司，包括國泰航空同埋香港快運咧，喺客運嘅航班總共飛往全球80多個目的地。咁而一個數目咧會喺2025年內咧進一步增加到全球100個航點。除此之外咧，我哋好榮幸國泰嘅服務同埋產品咧，亦都得到業界同我哋顧客嘅肯定。國泰航空作為集團裏邊專上嘅航空公司咧，我哋今年咧係獲得著名嘅航空評級組織咧選為全球最佳航空公司前5名，並且咧係獲選全球最佳經濟艙嘅獎項。國泰咧能夠取得如此令人鼓舞嘅成績咧，實在係有賴我哋顧客嘅支持同埋同事嘅努力。所以咧，我要喺度衷心感謝我哋同事堅守崗位，令到我哋取得豐碩嘅成果。同時咧，我非常感謝我哋顧客一直對我哋大力嘅支持。國泰會繼續秉承志在飛躍嘅理念，目標係成為員工、顧客、股東以至社會各界引以為傲嘅航空公司。最後，我再次重申，國泰對香港嘅前景係充滿咗信心。我哋會繼續致力為香港國際航空樞紐嘅繁榮作出貢獻。多謝各位。
唔該 Ronald. Thank you, Ronald, and thank you to all our speakers. This concludes today's media briefing. If you have any further questions, please email them to press@cathaypacific.com. Thank you very much for joining us. Have a good day. Thank you.